Hello, this is Michael Kies. Today I'll share a story about a very good friend of mine that will help you not only navigate these trying times, but to succeed and thrive. During this horrible COVID-19, the rules are changing all the time, not just in Victoria, New South Wales and Australia, but around the world, and we have to be flexible and change to not only survive, but to thrive. Now, Andrew, this good friend of mine, he's a workaholic. He works 18 hours of every 24-hour day. Now, he had to pick a machine up from New South Wales recently, and he had all the paperwork to get back into South Australia. And he thought he'd do the right thing and go through Broken Hill instead of Mildura. So he went through Broken Hill and they pulled him over at Broken Hill and they said, the laws have now changed, you've got to self-isolate for 14 days. And he said it didn't matter how much he argued, he had to self-isolate for 14 days. So he said, I had a choice. I could do something productive, or I could just sit around and waste the time. So what did he decide to do? He decided to do something that he'd been putting off and he really didn't want to do. He painted the inside of his house. And he said, I got it done within the 14 days. And at the end of it, I had this great sense of achievement and I so love what I've done. And this is what happens when we get things done. We get a rush of endorphins that gives us this really big high when we achieve something. So he made his downtime productive. And you have a choice. You can make your downtime productive, or you can waste your time during this pandemic. And then what are you going to say to your grandkids in 20 to 40 years from now about what you achieved during the pandemic? Do you want to say at the end of this horrible pandemic, I achieved something great and was productive during the whole time, or I used it as an excuse not to work? So let's have a look at the attitude that my good friend Andrew used when he had to self-isolate. In fact, he uses this attitude all the time in all of his life. Number one, he looked for the good in every situation. He found he could be productive. He did something he'd been putting off. He got off his backside and got to work. He was happy and did not blame anybody. He took total responsibility for his situation. He made a decision to be happy and enthusiastic all the time. Now, I want you to apply these 7 things to your real estate career right now. And that's, number one, look for the good in everything. Secondly, make a decision to be productive. Third, do the tough tasks that you've been putting off. Number 4, get to work. Number 5, don't blame anybody. 6, take total responsibility. And 7, everything you do, act with enthusiasm. Andrew once bought a farm through me, which I'd had trouble selling because the hill on the farm was covered in rocks. And everybody said we wouldn't buy the farm because the rocks. I showed Andrew the farm and he had a look at it and he saw the hill covered in rocks. And he said, they're moss rocks. He said, I'll buy it, because he saw opportunity in it. And one of his businesses is a landscaping business. So he's taken all the rocks off the farm and he's built retaining walls with them. He's done all sorts of things because he saw a great opportunity. Instead of seeing the rocks as a problem, he saw them as an opportunity, because one of his businesses, as I just said, is a landscaping business. Instead of seeing the rocks as a problem, he saw them as an opportunity. So ask yourself, do you see the rocks or do you find the opportunity? For in every challenge, there is an opportunity. You may have to look hard, but it's there. Act boldly and unforeseen forces will come to your aid. Always do your best. Until next time, this is Michael Kies.